We've been doing some Ionic theming up till now, but I kind of want to look into this, the three ways of the most used ways to actually theme a Ionic, or by using Ionic. One is the attributes, and we've kind of been seeing those, so probably HTML attributes or HTML utilities or utility. Those are kind of the main things if you want to do it through HTML. And we've seen some of these already with the button here, for example. It says color equals secondary, so that goes into the variables with the colors, the map in there, and chooses the colors you set in there. So we're using HTML to target something specifically in that map here. And that kind of goes through the Ionic button, the Ionic nav, and so on. It doesn't work on everything, so it's something that's being set to like buttons, navs, cards, and so on and so on. So if you create your own HTML tag, you can't just punch in color equals secondary and so on. That's kind of, we need to create our own directory for that. But that's kind of one way. The other is here with the column down that we just created with the columns 12 and so on, is another HTML utility. Second one is the variables. So we can set a variable to red, and then we can use this variable. That would be a standard one. Let's zoom in here. And we can create one in through the variable and then use this. So this is kind of the preferred way of using if you're using the Sass variables. So do it like this. And we've already seen this. This is a predefined. Let's go here. Click it. There we go. So this is the predefined for the purple. And this is not something that's in my head of code. I don't know this from start. I actually used the Ionic documentation to locate these. So I'm just going to change the color to some greenish thingy, turquoise, I think it's called. And that will actually change all the colors on the entire page in this case. I just click it down, create a local host. Let's go. And we can actually see the color now when shown. Don't look at this because I pushed in all this HTML that is not actually formatted, so that's why it breaks the design. Doesn't matter. Back to WebStorm. But that's kind of using the Sass variables to change something that's been created. And again, here I just use a predefined that at $text-color, which is, you can find these on the Ionic documentation. You can also create your own. But if we go into this, and again, I'm in the theming part, and instead of being in responsive, I'm down at the overriding Ionic variables. And this top one here is actually the one I've been used. But you can see the filters, Sass variables below as well, where we can actually go in and search of it. And you can see there are so many different ones they create. And this is just down to C, D, F, I, and there's still quite a lot over here. So that's quite a few different things. So let's type in the one for the text in a little button. Here we go. Text dash color. And there's actually quite a lot of these different text here. So let's just do a fine text, and let's go down till that was really weird because they are all that. But down there, and we can see there are default settings. So default is usually the black one, or if you flip the colors around with the maps, they will be turned white instead. So you see sometimes the button goes from, the color goes from white to black and so on. So that will be changed here and so on. But there's also many different extra things for the text, like the search bar. So if you created a search bar, implemented that using the components, you could actually style them differently compared to what you're using. So iOS for iPhones, you can use MD for material design, which works for Androids. WP, I'm guessing that's for Windows phones, but I'm not sure. But let's open up our inspect here. And the reason why I want to do this is to show you some of the mad things that are sometimes being called by IDs and classes. So you can see right now that's not really the hardest one. But if you were to create a search field or search bar, and you only wanted to change the text color in this, you needed to go specifically tell it only search bar, only in this area, only here, and might have a really specific selector in your CSS. But by knowing what you wanted to search for, you can just specifically go to that part, copy the variable, take this into your WebStorm, put it in your variables, and then changing it there instead of having to specifically locate it. So this here, the overriding Ionic variables, is just a place where we can go to change a lot of things, and that's like super awesome and makes life way easy for us. Let's see, is there more? Oh yeah, the last one is the custom style. And that's kind of creating our own grid, which we did in one video. So we implemented totally our own design, our own HTML, our own CSS to create our own grid and so on. You can do that, that's fine. I won't say that the Ionic grid is smarter or better than what you create yourself. It's really up to you. So if you feel more comfortable creating using grid or using your own flex or the one you borrowed from that person dude online, that's fine. Do what you feel like. The thing about it, Ionic Grid, it has a default, so it's kind of making sure that a lot of different things are already working on different browsers and so on. So it's really up to you what you want to do. But those are the three main things I would say you need to remember when styling your Ionic, and having those in mind which ones you want to use. You can mix them or you can use one of them, that's really up to you.